185 Miles South, a hardcore punk rock podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back. This is going to be week 2 of the Todd Jones podcast. If you want to support the show, please like, rate, and review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And also, please share this with all your friends and family and anyone you know who enjoys hardcore music. Or shit, I guess now with heavy metal too. Todd's done it all. Yeah, and if you want to seriously support the show and toss down some of your money, you can check out patreon.com/185 miles south. And that way you contribute a little bit of money every month to keep the cost of this show covered so we can keep it going for you. And with that, you can cancel anytime or, do what you do, man. Whatever you can do to help out is much appreciated. I love you all. Here is part 2 of the Todd Jones podcast. So, what about the other guys? Like, how do they feel about doing the tour when he's not?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's something.
Or they didn't know.
I mean, Corey didn't know, and that's something I always felt a lot of guilt about. I didn't tell Corey, and Corey was, or he was at that time, definitely one of my main dudes. You know what I mean? Me and him hung out a lot.
Yeah.
I think he was staying at me in my apartment for a while, and it was just I didn't tell him because I didn't really want to tell anybody. I just wanted to fucking get this thing. I wanted to play these shows and get it out of the way because I knew it wasn't going to fucking last. You know what I mean? I was smart enough to know it's a straight edge band without a straight edge singer isn't happening.
Yeah, and did you not consider replacing him?
Fuck no way. No, Ryan. I mean, dude, come on. You've seen Ryan. He's a fucking great front man. You can't fucking replace Ryan.
He's a good front man. Mm-hmm. Did you guys ever take any shit for people thinking he was emulating Wes too much?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I didn't. I don't nobody actually ever said anything. I think it was people on message boards probably made fun of us.
Yeah.
But they probably had a different agenda in the first place.
Didn't you get mad at someone? Someone had a fucked up shirt? Wasn't there a Carry On the Line?
Oh, okay, yeah. So
you got mad at someone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, someone made a shirt. Someone from Florida made a shirt.
Is that on that tour? You saw it?
No, this happened 4 years later.
4 years after.
Yeah, this is after the fact. Someone made a shirt that had the Carry On logo from the Line is Drawn 7-inch and put 3 Coke lines and a razor blade said the line is drawn. And I mean, that fucking bothered me because Carry On is something that I have a lot of fond memories of. And it's you don't ever want to see someone disrespect your shit like that. That sucks. Make a shirt, dog, with your logo on it.
And it was still sore. It's before you did the reunion show.
I mean, I'd still be mad about it now if someone did that. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a pretty good.
I mean, I would not contact a person and threaten them.
No.
Or find them or whatever. But I would take it personal and I would remember who that person was. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a fair dig.
That's fine.
Yeah. But whatever.
I mean,
But it's also go back to talk about the dude from Teamwork. Why take the time and the effort to put out that negative energy? You're gonna go and design and then print a shirt to talk shit.
Yeah,
that's pretty extreme.
It's
why don't you call your mom and tell her you love her? I mean,
that's one way to look at it. I get it, man. I get it because the thing is, a lot of straight edge people and a lot of hardcore people, feel slighted because they did like the record and then fucking, by the time they get to the end of the record, someone's already telling them the singer sold out. It's as a straight edge hardcore person, you gotta be what the fuck? This isn't real. This sucks.
Yeah.
That's a huge fucking diminishing thing for a straight edge hardcore band.
I know.
It makes it look did you even believe these words at all? I mean, I know Ryan did, but he just. It
is so close though. The
it's
recording
so close,
to breaking up.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just what happened. It's how it was. And that doesn't make it any less, that doesn't make it any better for me.
No, your situation is fucked.
I mean, all of ours was. It wasn't just me. It was me and Corey.
No, you and
Lucas
Corey.
But yeah. So I don't know, man.
Okay, so let's move a little out of the timeline and let's wrap up Carry On.
Okay.
So it's how many years later you called them the last shows.
Yeah, so we billed them as the last shows. We didn't want to call it a reunion because at that time, especially, a lot of bands were getting back and doing reunions. Like we were like, look, like, okay, so you asked when it was. It was the weekend of July 4th in 2005. It was somewhere in that time frame. I think it was like July 5th and 6th.
So like 4 years after the LP came out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. About 4 years after the album came out, we did it at the Showcase Theater. And
2 nights.
2 nights, yeah. They were really great shows. Yeah.
That's so sick.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the thing. It's like we were aware of like people liked Carry On, and nobody really got a chance to see us after that album came out. So it was like, we thought, well, we can do 2 shows. Let's just try 2 shows, and they both sold out, and they were both a lot of fun. They were great. I can't speak for anybody else, but that those shows gave me the closure I needed. Like, any sort of negative feelings I had, or any towards Ryan for not being straight edge, or just really at all. I got a chance to play those songs again, and it was fine. It was good. I liked it. It was great. But yeah, we didn't want to call it a reunion. We just called them the final shows. Yeah.
It's weird though that many people showing up to like support something when like the lyric, like it's, I don't know, like he did break edge and you're singing the songs and it's like, this is weird. And so there's like that many people signing off on like, this is cool.
Well, I mean, you could look at it that way, but I think it has a lot more to do with the fact is, whatever, Ryan felt about straight edge, when he was straight edge, I mean, was pure and it was real. And that record is powerful, regardless of the fact is if he wasn't straight edge after it came out or not. You know what I mean? And I think that's really all it comes down to is people wanted to see those songs played live by the band that made the songs. Yeah. You know what I mean? You bring up a fair point. It's like people are coming here and singing along to these songs that are overtly straight edge, with someone who's not straight edge, but it's just, I think it had just more to do with like a more primitive feeling of just wanting to see those songs.
I understand both sides of it. It's just, it's a really weird thing to think about to me because it's like, I don't know. I care about lyrics a lot. And like hardcore it's supposed to be more than music, right? It's more than just,
well,
I don't know. I mean, I guess it really depends on how people think of it. Like, there are a lot of people that like, it's just, I like hardcore music. This is the music I like, and the lyrics can take a fucking back seat. And that's a totally honest way of looking about it.
You've always been passionate about the message.
Yeah.
And I agree.
And so that's just weird to me that like, I don't know. It's like part of me, like when that happened and it was so big and like no one really cared, it was like, dude, like part of hardcore is like dead right now because the lyrics don't fucking matter.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And then it's like, if you pull out the lyrics and like the sincerity of hardcore mattering, and then it's just like a style of music, then I don't know. It's a completely different thing. And so I don't know. I mean, that was just like my take on it. Although, man, I'm so sympathetic to your situation of like not having closure. Like I cannot imagine doing the full record and not being able to like play off it.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
That was a bit of a shitty thing.
But that's my take, and I'm only one person.
No, I gotcha.
So
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't know if unfortunately or not. It's just kind of how it is. It's like I agree. I think anybody coming from like the hardcore or punk scene, I think you should fucking stand for something. Whether it's in you, whatever you stand for is what you choose, and. I mean, just like I said, I think it's just a testament to the fact that hardcore and punk rock should definitely stand for something, but it is also a testament to the fact is, dude, sometimes some of this shit is just music.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with just writing music that kicks ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it is like one of those reasons why I feel like everyone over maybe 35 in hardcore, like now we all like universally think like Earth Crisis rules. Like even if you weren't like a super Earth Crisis fan in the 90s.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of us didn't like this stuff.
I wasn't a huge Earth Crisis fan.
I love the Firestorm 7-inch and that's about it. But it's like, man, as like a hardcore dude that like I'll turn 40 in January, like to look at like that commitment and like those dudes are the shit.
Those are still vegan straight edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are the shit. That's
yeah.
right.
And it's like they were fucking right. And so when people were taking swipes at them in 94, 95, it's like, dude, they proved you wrong. And like, that's so fucking dope.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Yeah,
anyway.
absolutely.
But that's so dope. You 2 nights selling out showcases.
Yeah, it was a
for
dream.
you, especially
it was
when
great.
it's like, I want to play showcase.
Yeah.
You know, and you felt like you couldn't break out of the PCH. So that's a heavy win. Now, how soon after the Carry On breakup do you do Terror?
Oh, dude, like that month.
That's so sick.
Dude, so what happened was is Carry On played our last show in December.
And you already had Nick Jet. Nick Jet, did he play the East Coast tour, or did he only play the Troubadour show?
He played the East Coast tour. So what happened is when Carry On got home from recording our album, Lucas called and said, "Hey, I'm out of the band."
Right.
I think his goal was just to record an album, and which is fine, whatever.
He did a great job.
Yeah, he did. And then we met Nick through Sean Grind, me and Corey, somebody me and Corey are friends with. Or we used to hang out with a lot, at least at that particular time, and
because they were in a band.
Sean and Nick were. I think they went to high school or were in a band.
Okay, I saw their band play Headline, and I can't remember the name.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, because they covered Strife. I was like, oh shit, covering Strife.
You're thinking of Anthony, the little Anthony.
Maybe
he was in a band.
I saw Nick's band pre.
I think Nick was in it too.
Okay.
Dude, that's kind of hazy. But I met Nick through Sean. Okay. And we, tried him out. He's a great drummer, and he played with us. And so yeah, Nick went on that tour and played our last show with us. And I think December 10th was the last show at the Troubadours. At least, sometime around that era of December. And at the time, John LaCroix from 10 Yard Fight was living in California and had his own website, like johnlacroix.com or something, and it said, "I'm living in California. Me and Scott Vogel are doing a band. We need a drummer." So I hit him up and I was like, "Hey, dude, I've got a drummer who's fucking awesome. But do you need? I come along. Package deal. Yeah, exactly. I was like, what do you got going on? And that was like, dude, that was like within a week of Carry On breaking up, and we got together with Scott. John couldn't make it, and me and Nick and Scott got together, and that month, so December of 2001, we just got together and decided, we're going to do this band.
Did you jam, or you just got together and talked?
We jammed.
So was your first jam a 3-piece?
Yeah, Scott, yeah. John couldn't make it. He was somewhere else. I think he was outside of California or outside of Southern California, and the three of us were there, and we played some music together, and I don't think any actual Terror tunes that became Terror tunes came out of that session, but we all got along well, and we all liked the same. We liked a lot of same things, and got along. And so Scott was living in Arizona, and he drove out to where Nick lived in Granada Hills, and we decided we were going to do this band.
Yeah. And then, does John ever practice with you, or you get the Shark Attack dude?
John never ended up being in the band. I think Scott. What happened was Scott came out from Arizona twice in a row, and and John wasn't able to make either of those rehearsals. So I think we just decided to move on without him.
Yeah.
So it was the three of us, and then I was living with Matt Smith, who played in Shark Attack and Rain on the Parade, and we got him as a bass player, and we wrote the demo, played some songs, went on tour.
Did he play on the Rain on the Parade 7 Inches?
He didn't play on the Body Bag record, but I think he was in the band for the Full Speed Ahead record. Yeah.
Did he know your nickname for a while was Body Bag?
Oh no, I didn't think so. That wasn't something that I really carried with me after
I should ask you. We should have talked about that. That 7. Okay, going back to 96, 97, the Youth Crew revival. That record hit with you.
2 records did. That record particularly, and the Floor Punch record. I got those records. I can't say back-to-back days, but back-to-back mail days. Yeah. I got the Floor Punch 7-inch on December 26th, 1996. I got that in the mail, and I got the Rain on the Parade 7-inch December 24th. So right before and after Christmas. And those records, yeah, you're right. They made a profound impact on me as a 15-year-old kid.
They're the wildest and the most catchy, don't you think?
I never thought about them in terms from Wild, but Rain on the Parade
it's not
definitely
like,
was more choppy than all the other bands from that era. They're definitely faster.
Yeah, and like, but the Floor Punch too, like they'll do like a crazy beat,
You're
like
right.
straight into like just a sing along, and it's
right.
like songs over. Where like every other band, I mean, compare that to In My Eyes, those guys are writing like real songs, or like Insin or any of those bands, like they're trying to write well thought out songs.
Yeah, Floor Punch was more. You could tell Floor Punch was more about energy, but also like through the vocals and the lyric patterns and everything else, like they were super fucking catchy songs.
Yeah,
right? And you're right. Ensign and In My Eyes were more of like your traditional folk verse, chorus, bridge, chorus over songs.
Yeah,
Floor Punch were just fucking, about
insane.
moshing pretty much.
Yeah, and then Rain on the Parade was like, what the fuck is this? Like every song is like pretty different.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like those ones like really resonated.
Yeah, I got Hardware Fanzine number 8 from Fred, from Fred Hammer, and I read that cover to cover and ordered some records out of that, and I ordered those records out of it. And yeah,
sick. So sorry, jumping back to Terror.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so you get Matt Smith.
Yeah,
And now you're a band. And now you're jamming.
yeah. We played our first show at Pat's Warehouse, April 26th of 2002.
Yeah.
We
Which was also Piece by Piece's first show.
That's right.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. I bet you $1, fool. It was because it's crazy because it's like both bands' first shows and Piece by Piece headlined. And I missed Terror and I saw Piece by Piece because Joe Rivas was printing I think like the In Control Plays the Hits inserts. He worked at Kinko's.
Yeah, you're right.
And Terror played early.
Yeah, I guess.
And I missed
right,
it.
Yeah, I have pictures from that show. I actually saw them the other day. Yeah, you're right. Piece by Piece, Terror, and maybe one or two other bands.
Yeah, playing at Pat's. Super sick. And like packed already.
Yeah.
Like people knew.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like Carry On had a bunch of hype, and everybody was super. That was one thing about Terror that was like the perfect storm was, and now they're not as segregated as they were then. I think you'll agree, but like Scott had the crowd coming from the Buried Alive scene, the more heavier hardcore scene, and I had the crowd coming from the more faster Carry On type scene. And I think that like those things combined, like I think people, I don't know, got people super interested in the band super fast.
It's weird that it was like kind of different, but I feel like the big breakthrough on that stuff was B9 doing the Death Threat LP.
Oh yeah, Bridge 9. I think a lot of it was that. I think Bridge 9 made it acceptable for like people who were in the youth crew to like Death Threat. We liked Death Threat.
Of course, but we were different. We're from Oxnard, like we're not following like what's okay to like.
No, that's true. Yeah.
No,
that's
like
true.
Totally different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the B9 made it acceptable for like straight-laced hardcore kids to like enjoy something that's like a little on the tougher side.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Because do you remember, like, you had to remember, Death Threat came through and they played Skate Street.
Yeah, to nobody.
I
was there.
To like 15 people.
Yeah, that was August of 2000. That was their first tour.
Right. And then the record gets re-released on B9. It gets re-released, right? Because it came out as a CD first.
That's right.
Then B9 puts out like the vinyl.
That's right. And next thing you know,
and then they're
touring with American Nightmare.
Yeah.
And
and they can do 150, 200 kids.
Easy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like literally, B9 gave them like it's okay for like safe living white people to like this stuff. Like
I think it has a lot to do with that, but also it has a lot to do with the times.
Yeah.
I think because American Nightmare was the first band that was like. I think it was the first band that came from that would have been in the same world our bands played with that actually broke out and had more appeal outside of just your standard DIY venues and everything like that. They were kind of people who were into other more bigger types of hardcore, found out about them and liked them. And I just think Terror. I firmly believe Terror is the band that kind of united the more heavier hardcore with the more faster hardcore sound in regards to our culture, our circle of people, because that's when you started seeing like, I don't know, I feel like more faster hardcore bands got more attention during that era, and same thing with bands like Death Threat, just like you're putting out like 25 to Life. We saw them play at the barn in JP's barn in Ojai in like 1998. I mean, there was only like 40 or 50 of us, and it was an amazing show.
Yeah.
But I feel like even after that tour, like in the early 2000s when they were touring more, they had like bigger crowds.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, Terror, I mean, what can you say about them? It's like kind of the glue of everything, right? Kind of now. Like they do like mold like all those scenes together. And it's because
They were a unity band for sure.
Yeah, and it's so active and like everyone, I don't know, everyone still follows hardcore. Yeah, right? They're not washed up.
No,
like,
not at all.
To a man.
No,
I still not washed up.
No, I still listen to every Terror record that comes out and like it. Yeah.
I listen to every Terror record as well. Good band. Killer band. One of the best bands.
Yeah.
So you do a demo.
Yeah.
And was that like it was a CDR demo?
Yes, so at the very of the time.
Very of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Totally.
Because people at that time we're talking spring 2002. Like not everybody. I didn't even know what an iPod was until like January 2003.
Yeah, I think that No Motive, they went on tour in 2004 and wanted to use my van, and they bought me an iPod to rent my van.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like this is weird, dude. I can track all the shit by my releases because I never tried to do anything like to be cool. I didn't care what, like the aesthetic of putting out like stuff. This is literally like the ease of putting it out. So In Control demo is 99. Yeah. That's cassette.
Cassette, yep.
Retaliate demo is 2002.
CD.
Yeah. And then like I got an iPod in 04. So that's like that's the lineage of tape, CD, MP3.
Well, that's when I think 2004 and 2003 and especially 2005 was when I felt the mass majority of people got hip to downloading and using stuff on their iPod.
Was right around like that's high speed internet time, I think. Because like I was like behind the curve. I didn't get high speed internet until I think 06. So people people had it in like 04 and shit.
I had it in like 2000.
Yeah. That's sick.
But
well, I remember when I lived in North Hollywood, like I wanted to download Freebird, and like and I had like the low like the free internet, like if you're low income, whatever, like the dial up shit, and it literally took like 9 hours.
Yeah, I remember those days.
It was so worth it though.
Yeah.
The second half of that song is a ripper.
Yeah, it is absolutely.
The first half is whatevs.
I love it all.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's fucked up, dude. But on the 45, like they cut out all the good shit. It's just the first part.
I don't know. I'm not that.
I want to put out a 45 of only the second half of Freebird. So the part that rips.
Yeah.
Like when it kicks in. So the demo, is that the same recording as like the 2-song 7-inch?
No. So the demo was the demo. We recorded that in April, and it was another thing. We drop off a DAT and. I think we bought like 500 CDs and we made the covers at Kinko's. Matt Smith designed them. We printed them out, cut them ourselves, packaged them, mailed them fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I know Scott mailed like a box of 100 to Philadelphia just to give people. And it was, we were just getting that fucking thing out. But then we did that 7-inch. That was at the time, they were 2 new songs. And we had our buddy Scott press that up on his label. And that was meant to be like a small one-time pressing. And,
on Takeover?
Yeah, Takeover Records, Scott's label. And then when it came time to do like an actual record, we just compiled all the songs we had, so that's 4 from the demo, 2 from that 2-song 7-inch. And then we had 3 songs that hadn't been recorded yet that when we were at Mars. We went to go record them for Lowest to the Low. Now, Lowest to the Low is 9 songs. And 2 reasons why it wasn't 10 songs was I was insecure about making an album at that point for Terror. And I didn't think Terror as a band, we were at a point where it's like we should have made a demo and just came out with an album. I thought like a gradual build should have been like an EP. So it's like, all right, well, let's just record all the songs we have. We wrote the song Lowest to the Low in Nick's studio like before going out there to record it, and I think we finished it at Mars musically. So like we only had 9 songs. Like when we recorded Lowest to the Low, those were the only 9 songs we had. Otherwise, I wish we would have wrote a 10th song and had that been like a 10-song album or whatever.
Yeah. And you go to Mars to try to get like that OLC sound.
Yeah, basically. But when we got there, we learned that the drums weren't even recorded there.
Where were they recorded?
Some other studio. Like that. I think there was 2 Mars. I think there was 2 Mars locations, and the one that we recorded at was the second one. and OLC was recording Crime Written Society as that place was getting built up. So they recorded the drums at another studio. Yeah, like well, no, yeah. I don't know about the first one at all. Yeah. But they were the dude Bill Korecki. I believe the story was that he was in between studios, so they did the drums at some studio, and then they recorded everything else at wherever Terra recorded Low Solo, and it's some city called Strongsville, I think it is.
Their city is called Strongsville?
There was a city, in Ohio.
Dude, that should be like
Strongsville. I think that's where I think that's actually like the city where Mars is.
That should be the hardest fucking hardcore scene there is.
It's such a great
Strongsville, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so sick, dude. You can't get that Chubby Fresh sound though, because he's like doing that cheat, like the battery cheat.
He's not a good drummer.
It's so
Chubby Fresh wasn't a good drummer, but he played with energy, and he did good. He did him, and that's what mattered. But yeah, he was what they call the cheat beat, where they hit the snare and the hi hat at the same time, as opposed to hitting the hi hat double time.
Yeah,
yeah.
But it's so meaty and chunky,
powerful.
Yeah,
it had energy.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the drums on. Yeah, we could talk about Crime Written Society. That would be a whole nother podcast, which I would not be afraid to do.
Well, how do they? Because you were trying to replicate the sound, so you should talk a little bit about it.
We specifically, I'm sorry, yeah. We specifically went to Mars because we were super into Integrity and One Life Crew and whatever other Cleveland band, Ringworm, The Promise.
So did you ask them like how they got that like tone?
You know what, dude? I'll tell you exactly what we did. We went there and we played them Hatebreed, Perseverance, and we said we wanted to sound sort of like this and all the other shit you did, because Perseverance had just come out at the time. And we loved that record, not just the songs, but the production value, which is insane because I look back now and that record doesn't really sound that good compared to other Hatebreed records.
Really?
My opinion, yeah. Like the bass response isn't really that good.
That's my opinion.
But anyhow, we were really super into that record, and we would like make it sound like One Life Crew and like this, and not Systems Overload, Humanity's the Devil.
Yeah.
And the first two Firestorm was recorded there as well, and we were just marks for that studio. You know what I mean? I don't know if we specifically said make us sound exactly like something, but it was those were our influences at the time. We specifically went to Mars because of the lineage of bands that went there, and because the recordings of those bands were so good.
That's funny that you say you wanted to sound like Humanity, not Seasons, or not Systems Overloaded.
Systems Overload, I personally like better.
The recording.
Not the recording, just as an album, as music.
Yeah.
I like Systems Overload better. But I
agree.
But I think as sonically, I do think Humanity is the Devil is a...
Yeah, what is that? That's like really hard to describe. Like just Systems is a little, I don't know, darker.
Yeah, I would say it's darker, a little.
Not as bright.
Not as bright, and not as you can't really hear. You can't hear things as well. I'm really not good.
But that's the closest one to sounding like OLC.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. You're probably right about that. But one of the things Bill Korecki said about Systems Overload was like they were all everything was like very super layered, and he said his quote was, "It was like a forest of knobs." Like I guess they were drunk and they were mixing it together, and it was just a mess. But that record's great.
Yeah, so great. So you do those 9 songs, and it comes out. You do Bridge 9 again.
That's right. Yeah, we were on Bridge 9 Records.
And you're just totally happy with this stuff, right? Like, this is sick.
Well, in regards to what?
Your songwriting and
the record? We love the record. I mean,
what's coming out. Like, and also, like, do you feel a little validation that, like, it's almost like you feel guilty that Terror is, like, super popular off the bat, but it's like you kind of deserve it because you build up the Carry On shit, right?
Oh, I see.
And Scott deserves it from, like, a lifetime of bands as well.
Yeah, I mean,
and
Scott
Nick was part of the
29 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like 20, 21. Scott was like 28, 29. Nick's like 1 year younger than me, so basically the same age. And we were, dude, honestly, I was just fucking psyched that I was playing big shows.
Yeah.
And everything was just a little bit easier.
And the songs are good.
I was psyched. We listened to that record. We got that record, and for some reason we had to travel back into Canada to go pick up Nick's double bass drum, and we listened to that record like 3 hours over and over and over again, just
in a row.
Scott, and we were just like, fuck. Like we felt like, I think we knew we made something like pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, you still feel like that, right?
Yeah. I think I hold. Yeah,
when's the last time?
Solo in very high regard.
When's the last time you listened to it?
Probably 5 years ago. Yeah.
That long?
Yeah, I just haven't listened to it in a while. I guess haven't. Maybe I'll throw it on the car on the way home. But Yeah, dude.
Look, dude, real hardcore kids listen to that record at least once every 3 months in perpetuity, or you're fucking out.
I don't know. That record was, I think, at the time, like a huge cultural thing for hardcore. Like that, like it definitely. It was a big thing. You know, I was just super happy to be part of it, and it was just things were super easy for me.
It totally bonded those two scenes, like you said.
Yeah.
Right. Which made
shows bigger.
But who better to do it? Like it was like Scott's the perfect guy, and you're the perfect guy to do it, right?
I suppose. I don't know. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. Okay, and so now you take off you tour for like the first year straight, right?
So yeah, when me and
this
Nick,
is something you've never done before.
That's right. So when me and Nick and Scott, when we got together in December, one of Scott's thing was like, I want to do a band. Like, I just want to do this. I want to do it full time. You know, we can do this. And you know, of course, to 19-year-old me, I was like, fuck, just go play hardcore and not have to have a job. I'm definitely going to do that. You know, it sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
And then we started touring, and we didn't really stop, but we started touring like June of 2002. We did like a tour that took us into August. We did another tour in the fall that was like a month long. And then in January, we did a month-long tour. And then in April, it felt like we went from April to the end of August, and I was just done. I was like, I do not want to tour full time. I do not like this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be like, I mean, it was just I don't know, man. Touring, being on the road full time, man. I learned a lot about myself during that period, and that's something I've never really gone back on. Like, I've never wanted to tour full time since then.
That's cool.
Yeah,
right? You figured it out quick, and you didn't lie about it. You didn't fuck anything up.
Well, you know, I mean, I think those guys were a little bit. I mean, you know, the Terror train was fucking going full speed ahead at that time, and I think they were just. I think for them it was like a knockback, because it's like, you know. I mean, I hate to talk about myself at that time, but at that time I was kind of hot shit. Like, I did the Carry On album, then we did the Low So Low, and it's like, oh, Todd Jones, the riff writer, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, ugh. And I think at that time they were worried that me leaving the band was, you know, going to hurt them. And, I mean, we can see from right now it absolutely wasn't the case. I mean, Terror's been a successful band.
Well, because they just never stopped.
Yeah,
writing and recording and hitting the road, right?
Yeah, I mean, Terra's doing what they've always wanted to do, which is tour full time and be an awesome hardcore band. So there you go, they're successful.
No, it's great. It's great that they were able to transition through all their lineups. They went through a lot of lineups early.
They went through a lot of lineups early. I think they've had the same lineup now, minus a bass player change, since like 2008.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. Like, one member change in 11 years. But yeah, man. I mean, I was just, fuck, man. I mean, I'm sure when I told those guys I don't want to tour full time, I mean, they were just kind of like, fuck, what are we going to do? Like,
yeah.
But they were fine.
Is that before you go and do the second record?
I told them in April.
Okay.
April of 2003, when we were at a festival in Europe, and I can't remember which festival it was, but I told them, like, hey guys, I want to sit down and talk. And I was like, I'm not touring full time anymore. And at the time, the arrangement was I was going to continue to help them write, which we did. And up until the record that we put out after that, which was One with the Underdogs. So,
that's right.
So what happened was I was in Terror as a touring member until the end of August of 2003. Mm-hmm. And, you know, between the time we recorded Low So Low, we were constantly trying to write songs. We went into the studio in January of 2004 I think it was late January, to record One with the Underdogs. So we basically spent about a year trying to write a record in between touring. And, you know, me and Nick and Carl and Scott were in the studio. Actually, I can't remember if Carl was there or not, but yeah, Carl was there. I went and recorded with Carl. Carl was at Sound City. We recorded that record at Sound City in Van Nuys, which is a big major studio where like Nirvana recorded Nevermind there, Fleetwood Mac recorded stuff, just some fucking Hollywood studio, whatever, North Hollywood. But we went there and recorded there and did the record, and that was pretty much like the end of my involvement in Terror. After that record was done, I was like, that was pretty much it.
Did you write the whole thing?
I mean, you know, me and Scott and Nick did.
Was Nick writing riffs at that time?
He wasn't writing riffs, I don't think, but
they're still there in the room approving or declining
those guys were. Well, I mean, they were. I got a lot of raw ideas from Nick and Scott. Like,
yeah,
like a lot of stuff. Like for instance, it was always the three of us. We were the big three creative guys in the band during my tenure in the band, and that's not to take away from Doug or Carl or Rich or any of the other people who were in the band. It just worked out like that. That's how it was. So, but we would be in the room, and for instance, I would play something, and Scott would be like, "That's cool." Like and I wouldn't even be thinking about it. He'd be like, "Let's try to do something with that," and Nick would be like, well, I want to do a song that has a drum beat like this. You know what I mean? It was definitely all three of us. In regards to writing riffs, I would say, yeah. I don't want to sound like I'm taking credit for it, but it was me mainly on the guitar writing all these like guitar.
Yeah, but they're coming with ideas, but they need someone like you to filter them through.
I suppose so. Yeah.
I mean, I need that. I have to talk to Roger.
I need it too. Still, I mean, when I'm doing nails, like I have to take things to Taylor and Leon and everybody. I'm like, does this sound cool?
Yeah.
It's like, so of course, yeah. I mean, everybody needs a filter. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you leave, and then you just kind of helping out your buddies. Like, were you in internal affairs, or you just?
Oh no. So yeah. So I wasn't. So I joined internal affairs. Can't remember if I was living with Corey at the point, but I mean, me and Corey always had we were always friends through all this stuff, and I think it was sometime in 2004. So the same year I quit Terra. I think it was during the summertime, and I think he needed a fill-in for a show. And I was like, "Yo, man, I'll fill in." He's like, "All right, cool." So we rehearsed, went to the rehearsal, did the show, and I just told him like, "I'm not doing anything, man." He's like, "I'll just play with you whenever you want." So that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was in the band for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And you did the first LP with self-titled LP.
Yeah,
on Malfunction.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, and then you get a little itch and want to do something a little more melodic, and do Betrayed with Aram.
Yeah, I was doing internal affairs, and then when you and I moved in together, where was that place we lived? Off
Victoria Arms.
Victoria Arms.
It's fucking weird over there.
Clarissa Swallows live there.
It's all like, I don't know. There's a whole shopping center right across the street.
No, it's super gentrified. But did that place get gentrified too? That apartment complex?
It still looks like
shit.
Well, it's just like it looks nicer, but they I don't know. They paint it like white and yellow. Like it looks stupid.
Well, the blue ghetto is not the blue ghetto anymore.
I know.
It's like a tan ghetto.
I know, and I think it's condos across. Nah, what is it? Because like that Lucky shopping center is not
gone. Yeah, they tore down Lucky's and all that shit. And it's fucking weird because that's where I would hang out. I spent a lot of time in that area of Oxnard, like that whole West Side area is where I grew up.
Yeah, I got jacked like at least twice trying to have people pimp beer at that liquor store in like that Lucky spot.
Oh my god!
Like here's $20, like get us beer, and like the guy just runs out the back.
What an asshole!
But whatever.
But yeah, so like 2005, me and Aram, I was doing internal affairs, and Aram, we just I don't know, we were good friends, we are good friends, and we decided to just do a band together. I mean,
how do you decide to do a band with someone that lives like 1,000 miles apart?
That's a good question. So I guess that was probably the first time I ever did that. Okay. And I think a big inspiring moment for me to do that was because I had just bought an Apple computer and it had GarageBand on it.
Oh, okay, great. So technology facilitates
That's absolutely right. Yeah. I bought a little Apple and I was making my own songs in GarageBand.
Yeah.
And that's how we wrote that Betrayed record. Me and Aram would just send things back and forth.
Yeah, the first 7-inch?
Yeah.
Okay. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And how did you recruit the other guys for the band?
They were just our friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's mostly just you're doing everything.
Yeah, I mean Greg it's me and Ram are doing everything, yeah. But I mean I was writing the music, Ram was writing the lyrics.
So if Greg, and then who played drums?
Todd Probosky, who was the current drummer from Champion at the time.
Okay. All right, very good. And then so you do a 7-inch, and that is on Bridge 9. And then you do the LP, and that's on Kyle Whitlow's label, Rivalry.
Oh, the LP was actually on Equal Vision, but at the time,
Sign of the Times again. They're not doing vinyl.
They weren't doing vinyl at the time, so Rivalry, or maybe they were doing vinyl, but it wasn't like a big selling point for them. They were still, slanging CDs and doing.
You got to do a record on Equal Vision. That's cool. I never knew that.
Yeah, man, that was like a really big deal for me because at the time of us getting into hardcore, there was Victory Records, Revelation, and Equal Vision.
Yeah.
So, Equal Vision now is obviously a little bit more indie rock leaning, and I think it was already that way when Betrayed was on it, but it was still like wanted to put out a record on Equal Vision.
You've never done a Rev record, huh?
No.
You're gonna though at some point, huh?
No.
Why?
Well, I mean, why? I'm in Nails, and Nails never going to do a record with Rev.
You're never going to do another band.
No, I don't want to do another band.
You don't think you'll take a stab at like doing a more straightforward hardcore band again?
I think Fireburn was my last shot at that. I think you know, this is going to sound fucked up, but I think people need to go away.
What? Well, like how?
Well, I think, dude, you know, we've been talking about for the past almost 2 hours now of all these bands I've been in. It's like, I've been in so many goddamn bands. It's like, I've kind of had my shot to do, Fireburn was like my last shot to do like a fucking straightforward hardcore band.
Yeah, but it was very incomplete.
Oh, it was incredibly incomplete. But I don't want to muck up the river with shit. You know what I mean? I think, you know, I mean, hardcore is not just a young man's game, especially now, but like, I don't know, man. I just don't feel comfortable like starting all these bands. Like, I feel like I've done enough bands.
I don't know. Do you ever get bummed out when like Matt Henderson starts a new band?
No, fuck no.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what the fuck?
I'm not Matt Henderson.
You know?
No.
It's like, oh, SOS, what's this? Like, Matt Henderson's in a band? I'm buying it. Take my fucking money.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, he's in a band with Sergio? Take my fucking money.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like, no, dude. The iconic riff writers of hardcore need to carry on. It's not like you're the singer. You know, like, if you wanted to do another band like Nails, but a different style, like, let's say you wanted to do Betrayed, and you're like, I'm going to sing and play guitar. Like, that might be a little much.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
But if you're playing guitar all the time, who gives a shit?
No, like, I don't feel like I'm above hardcore. Certainly not. Absolutely fucking not. And I don't feel like, I don't know, man. I just feel like maybe people are tired of hearing my name in that world. I don't know, man.
I don't think so. I think you got to eventually do a record on Rev, and then you've cleaned the slate. You've
That'd
been
be
on,
pretty
like,
cool.
Everything.
That'd be pretty cool. Snake Eyes did do a comp song on Revelation, so...
Okay.
I mean, that's not like...
That's pretty close.
That's like dipping my toes in the water.
That's dipping the toes. Yeah. So Betrayed, what's your take on the band?
Oh, Betrayed was a lot of fun. Betrayed, dude, this is the thing. I've never done a band that was melodic.
Yeah.
And it's really... there's a lot more places you can go when you do melodic. You know what I mean? Where maybe it's just a little bit... I had fun doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you do a melodic band, the punk band you play guitar in.
Somali.
Yeah, Somali Pirates.
Yeah.
Like... I mean, would you agree that you kind of have like a wider berth
of course
range in regards to playing guitar?
Yes, if you're gonna actually, Aram sang. He had some notes, but yeah, it's more melodic. But Somali's a little different in that, dude. If you're singing like I was singing and hitting notes, you can have a song with 2 notes and it's not lame.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's real easy. It's easier to create maybe something more catchy or something more kind of like dig into, as opposed to just like
right.
So for me as a guitar player, Betrayed was a lot of fun, and that first 7-inch that we did on Bridge 9, like we wrapped that up in like a month, like from song 1 to song 6 to
it's like you taking a stab at a new genre and just be able to knock it out of the park because like you have all these little riffy ideas from your whole lifetime.
Yeah, basically, and that was really like and that was fun. So Betrayed was fun, but I just needed to do something a little bit more like angrier. You know what I mean? Like
for sure. For sure.
It's kind of like Internal Affairs. Like when we were talking about Internal Affairs, like I was there and I definitely helped things along. But the thing is, like Internal Affairs was mainly Corey's vision.
It's Corey's band.
And I think you would agree that if you were to put, like, it sounds like Corey. Like Internal Affairs is like, if you were to take Corey and put him in a musical form, like that's Internal Affairs. And I didn't want to fuck that up. And it was kind of like,
he's got this.
So he's got this.
All you can do is affect it.
He's rolling. I'm helping him push it along. I'm just helping him move it along. Yeah. What can I do to support Corey and make sure Internal Affairs is seen the way he wants it to be seen, or his vision is successfully put out there into the world? And then Betrayed, it was just like we did this thing. It was fun and it was cool. And I think we probably wanted to do a little bit more than we did, but it just came to an end. And that was after that. That was when I was kind of got into my late 20s, and I was kind of I didn't really know what I was really doing musically. I knew I wanted to do something a little bit heavier, but I joined Blacklisted. Basically, what happened is at the time, I think we're talking 2006. I got laid off my job, and I went to Australia indefinitely. Like I only ended up being there for like a month and a half, but I told Corey, I was like, "Hey man, I'm going to Australia." And he's like, okay, well, Internal Affairs has all these shows. We're going to get somebody else to play. It's like, okay, fine. It was like an agreed upon. It wasn't like, any weirdness or anything like that. But, and then when I came home, that guy like had a role in the band. So who am I to say, like, get the fuck out, I'm in the band. That wasn't happening. I left and they filled the role, but I came back from Australia and, I joined Blacklisted on second guitar.
Sick.
Yeah. I saw them at the Alpine and, I was buddies with them already, and I don't know how the conversation got started. To be honest with you,
I'm looking for something to do, and
I may have approached them.
Yeah,
but I was really into what they were doing, and they had just recorded a 7-inch called Peace on Earth, War on Stage, and that hadn't come out yet, but I heard it and I was pretty blown away by it, and I joined the band for that year. So for 2007, I didn't work at all. I got laid off of my job. Mm-hmm. I saved up, some money, and I was drawing unemployment. And for 2007, I didn't work at all. I toured with Blacklisted and recorded the record with them, Heavier Than Heaven.
Mm-hmm. Did you write anything on the record?
No, that was another situation where it was like, you guys are, you guys are, you guys got this train moving. I'm just here to support, to help it keep moving. And
so you did a whole year of touring. How would you compare that year of touring versus the Terror year?
So I would say that touring with Blacklisted was a lot different. Well, because for that whole year, I definitely didn't do anything other than tour with Blacklisted. But really, we only toured maybe like 3 or 4 months.
Okay,
like it wasn't like every fucking month we're doing something.
Yeah.
It was basically me sitting on my couch in California and then flying out to Philadelphia or flying out wherever and meeting them. Mm-hmm. But in October, I flew out to Philadelphia and stayed out there for 2 weeks while they already had like the majority of the record written. And I went to them to rehearsal and learn the songs while they were writing them. And I was just kind of there, you know what I mean? And I recorded on the album, and I don't know. It was a really awesome experience, but I was really inspired by the way that Blacklisted really looked at things. They were more kind of into. It didn't seem like they were focused on a lot of things like a lot of the other bands were really focused on that time. I think they were just really into being them.
Well, they came off very serious. I like that.
Yeah, that's true. And
they weren't there to fuck around.
No, that's true. That's absolutely true. Those guys definitely stuck to themselves. Like they were friends. They were all friends with each other from just being in a band. But it extended upon that. I mean, Blacklisted would show up to shows and not get out of the van. Like they were just like, and it wasn't like they were above anything. It was just like, dude, we're all friends. Like here we are. Yeah. Like I don't need to go make friends at this show, or I don't need to go do this or pimp my band out or whatever. They had an approach where it was really just like, we're here and we're not trying to shove this down your throat. If you want it, here we are. If you don't want it, fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really admired that approach to their band. And that's something that I took with me. So basically what happened is I recorded with Blacklisted and I ran out of money. And I didn't have a job, and I saved up a bunch of money for my job before. And it kind of, I came to a point where I had to make a decision. Am I going to go live in Philadelphia and do this band and be in Blacklisted?
Yeah.
Or am I going to stay in California and get a fucking job? I mean, those are my choices at the time, and I chose to stay in California and get a job. I don't necessarily know if anything was holding me back at that point to do that. I'm actually kind of surprised I didn't move out there and do the band with them now, talking back in retrospect. But I stayed home.
You had to do something that was yours.
I think
you took a year off from doing something that was yours.
You're absolutely right. I think that's what it was. That's what it was, because that's what I did. I mean, I was living in Carpinteria, and I was planning on starting nails, and that's basically, I got a job, and I was planning on starting nails, and I started nails, and that's kind of that's what I did.
So, what was the idea behind it?
I wanted to do something that was like really antisocial sounding and really different than what was going on around me and my peer group and my cultural group. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do any more like just straight up fast hardcore bands. I'm going to do something that's like noisier, and I'm going to do something that's a little thicker and a little bit more, I don't even know. I just wanted it to sound ugly.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So how do you recruit for something like that?
Well, I mean, one thing was for sure was that I was going to sing, and that was out of necessity. It wasn't because it was something I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Like it was, I've been in so many goddamn bands. Like I want to have something that has longevity, and that was really the thing with it because excuse me, I knew at that time that I still wanted to do music, and I was going to do music, and no matter what, I was going to do music, even if I didn't want to. It's just kind of what I did, and I was like, well, I'm going to sing that way. If I have a disagreement with someone,
no, you're the band.
Yeah, exactly. It was, and I didn't necessarily. I had the hunger to be a band. It wasn't like it was just me and like a couple of other folks. Like I wanted it to be like a unit. Like
it's a solid insurance policy, though, right? Like if you're singing and writing all the songs,
that's right.
You got very fortunate with the two guys you got.
Absolutely,
but the insurance policy was there.
Yeah, that was like a big part of it. So. So basically, in regards to recruiting, I just did kind of like local fellas, like, and we started the band with Tom Hogan on drums, who lived in Santa Barbara, and John, who he's in Ohio, and I asked him to play bass because I just liked him. I knew he had a good heart, and like he was a young guy. I mean, I was 26, and he was like 18.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't really that.
It's definitely a generation younger than us because he like collects Fields of Fire records and stuff.
Yeah, he definitely a generation below us. And he and the thing is, it's like anytime I've ever like tried to recruit for a band or pick people for a band, it has a lot more to do with like not do I think this person's cool, but do I think their heart's in the right place? You know what I mean? Like,
don't get to sell me. I'm the one that chose Ryan to sing.
There you go.
And like that was the only thing he had going for him.
Dude, Ryan's an awesome frontman. He really made like maybe at the beginning it was like a little like he found his own. I think dude.
But it took time.
Maybe it took time, yeah, but
I didn't.
It's just like for anybody, though, right?
But I wasn't choosing him based on being a front man because I didn't know what it was yet. He'd only done Butt Slam. How do you judge off him doing like a fucking rudimentary Peanut cover
by moshing? That's how I feel like that's how a lot of singers get picked. Yeah.
Stage diving too, right?
If you're like somebody who's awesome at stage diving or moshing, chances are some guitar player's gonna come along and be like, "Hey, do a band with me."
Yeah, that's true. Well, Wes, he was a good mosher during the 10-yard fight.
I think that was. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big reason. I mean, even George from Blacklisted, he told me he joined Blacklisted because Tim, one of their old bass players, guitar players, came up to him and said, "You're a great mosher. Would you want to sing in this band I'm doing?" And it's like, dude, that's just how it is in hardcore. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you got somebody who looks agile and could fucking look awesome in the pit, why wouldn't they look awesome on stage? Let's just hope they have a good fucking voice and a good stage presence.
Well, yeah, and also like if you're a person that participates in hardcore, you're gonna know what other people are looking for.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like, people that pass the mic all sorry and shit. Like you're on your fucking forehead and shit. It's
you need
like
someone with confidence.
Yeah, you need someone and that like has actually sang along before, and you know how you want it delivered to you.
I
want it delivered right in front of my lips, about fucking about an inch apart. Don't hit me in the teeth. Don't hit me in the eye.
Do not hit me in the teeth, please.
But yeah. So Nail starts, and how long do you jam before you record?
Oh man!
And how do you explain what you're going for? To these guys.
I didn't know. I mean, I don't. So me and Tom were jamming from like December 2007. We didn't record. I mean, we recorded demos by ourselves, like little 4-track things, but we didn't actually go into the studio to record an actual proper record, which was our first EP, until December of 2008. So, I mean, we were playing music for like a full year until we had 6 songs that we thought were worthy of putting out on a record. I mean, I have like probably an album and a half worth of demos from that time period that, they were just trying to find our sound. Like I chose that HM2 pedal, like because I thought it sounded disgusting, not because I didn't want to sound like Entombed. I mean, Nails does not sound like Entombed. We don't have riffs that sound like Entombed. We don't have patterns that really sound like Entombed. Like we don't fucking sound like Entombed, but we will forever be compared to them just because the guitar tone is so similar, which is fine. I mean, they're a great band. I have no problem being compared to the Entombed, but I chose that pedal just because it sounded fucking ugly and dirty, and I was like listening to a lot of fucking like Japanese hardcore, a lot of Scandinavian hardcore, a lot of stuff that's like way more fucking rougher than your average Youth Crew hardcore, the shit that I grew up on and I still love. And And I didn't really have, I just love that music. I was just fucking going for it. And that's the thing with starting bands, and tell me if you agree or not, but like when you start a band, like when you're starting Control Retaliate, you have this idea in your head, and when it comes out and you have a recording of it, for me, it's never exactly like what I want it to be, but luckily it turns into kind of its own thing.
Of course.
And that's how I look at Nails. Like I was never really good. Like there's some people out there who could fucking start a band and it will sound like Youth of Today, or it will sound like Confront, or it will sound like this or that. I've never been good at that.
Yeah.
I'm not good at mimicking things or getting the correct tones or blah blah blah. I've always just kind of been influenced by things, and luckily for me, it's kind of turned into its own thing. And I think that's what Nails did, because I didn't know what I was doing at the beginning, and I mean, it just kind of came out, and luckily, it's cool.
I would say you've done a good job of at least going to the right people that can help you along.
Yeah.
And so like at least that's deliberate.
Yeah, it was definitely planned to record with Kurt.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the best at that kind of stuff as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So the first recording is Obscene Humanity.
Yeah, that was recorded with a fella named Alex Estrada at his studio in downtown LA called Earth Capital. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And we did that record there. We did that probably 3 sessions over the time of 2 weeks. Dave, who was playing in Blacklisted, who ran 6 Feet Under, I was at a Blacklisted show, played him demos of what I was doing. He's like, "Hey, I'd love to put this out." I was like, "Sure, this is great. Like, I don't have to shop a record.
Yeah.
Here you go. You're my friend, so easy peasy."
But you split it on your label too, right?
Yeah, I was doing a record label called Street Cleaner Records.
Because you did the Downpresser?
Yeah.
And you did what else?
Okay, so I first did the Downpresser record, and then my second record was by a band called War Priest, which was based out of Baltimore. They were like a crustier sounding band. And then I did a third record. The Nails record, that's right, Obscene Humanity. So I split that with 6 Feet Under. I didn't pay for anything on that record. I was just putting my name out there. It's kind of leeching off. Yeah, which is fine. It's no big deal. But so Dave put that out, and then that came out in April. We played like a handful of shows, and then I knew that Tom was moving to Washington, D.C. with his wife. So I was like, "Hey, dude, listen, you're moving to D.C. with your wife soon. I'm gearing up to do another record. We're going to write another album. Like, I'm going to get another drummer in the band."
Yeah.
And did I kick him out? I mean, I guess I did, but it was more of just like a coming to terms with things. That's the way I look at it.
You have experience of doing a long distance band.
Yeah, and I didn't want to do that. Was one of the things with Nails I didn't want to do. I didn't want to do long distance. I wanted all the members to be centrally located so we could rehearse and play and get and actually play. Like, I didn't want to be a situation where we only rehearsed when we had a show or an album to do. Like, I actually wanted to play, but it didn't end up that way. We typically only rehearse when we have something to do now. You know what I mean? Just because I live so far away from everybody. But
well, it's 10 years later.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't know, you've been able to keep the band together this whole time, constantly grow, have success. So I don't know. I'm psyched.
If
that's the only departure from the original plan. Intent, is we don't jam twice a week. Fuck it, dude.
No, I get it. Yeah, but so I got Taylor in the band. So it's me, John, and Taylor. And
how do you meet him?
I just met. You know what, dude? I met Taylor just in the early 2000s, in the days of AOL Instant Messenger. He hit me up. He was 18 years old. I think we're talking 2003 or 2004, and he just IM'd me out of nowhere, and we just started talking. We would chat every now and then. And
so he's just a couple years younger, pretty close to you.
6 years younger. He was born in 87. I was born in 81. So he definitely there's definitely
him and John
difference.
Are similar.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, even they're a little different. He has an interesting perspective because he grew up in Connecticut and got into hardcore probably when he was 13 or 14, and then moved to California when he was 17 or 18. So he had a lot of knowledge about the Connecticut hardcore stuff and the kind of
Dude, let's talk about that Follow Through song, the one good one. Follow Through Crew, straight and true.
Yeah. You don't like You Booze, You Lose?
You Booze, You Lose is hard, but that riff on the Follow Through.
Yeah, some good parts there. We ripped that off, right? Stand Your Ground.
Fuck yeah, dude. Our version was better too. It's coming out on Stu's Reflections tape comp.
Is he calling it Reflections?
Yes.
Cool.
The Clinch Fist song.
Reflections. That's a good song. Clinch Fist was fucking good. You know who else was good? Was FAY.
Yes. I will send you the demo.
Yeah, I'd never fucking heard it, but I remember seeing them live and being like, dude, this fucking band smokes.
That's what I thought too. I was like, fuck, this is like Pennywise in Nard.
Who do you think was of our era was the best bands out of all that? I don't think Burning Dog ever had like a good recording. Like I thought live they were fucking amazing, and I did like their recordings, but it didn't seem like their recordings served them well.
Yeah, I don't know, it's too hard to say because like I thought the FAY was probably the best of the live.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw Clinch Fist though. Burning Dog, is if you have a singer, you're going to be a better live band. I don't know. What
Burning
do you
Dog
think?
had 3 singers.
Does Repeater count?
Repeater was fucking awesome.
Because Repeater's the best. If we get to unless you consider that a little bit later.
No, I don't. Okay. That was kind of like the bands from our era. I think Repeater and Missing 23rd were probably the best ones.
I would say Repeater and Missing 23rd are the best ones. Yeah.
But fuck, what were we?
You have to. Yeah, you have to include Missing 23rd, of course. Because that's definitely old enough. But no, I like the Burning Dog like recordings. He just remixed it.
Oh yeah.
It's up on Bandcamp. They found like the reels and Armo just fixed everything.
What recording? Like
it's like the demos.
Oh, okay.
The 7-inch is a part of it. The 7-inch I think is remixed demo.
Yeah, that's right.
But there's 2 demos. I don't know what one the 7-inch came off, but
dude, I always love that fucking song. I don't want no more of this bullshit.
Yeah, dude, Burning like
they were fucking good, man.
What is that sound? Like Max and I try to describe it a lot, and it's hard because it's like a 90s punk sound that's like just filtered through like listening to a lot of heavy metal.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I think
because it's beefy and they fuck with melody, but they don't really fuck with melody.
It's like the age of Fat Records and Epitaph influenced them like a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But they did not go in that direction.
No.
They were definitely more of like aggressive punk mixed with, just like you guys said, just some of that thick, the bassness of the metal stuff, the chunkiness of the metal stuff.
But I don't know. It's just hard for me to wrap my head around. Like, they're trying to be like bone breakery.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just another one. Like, obviously what's happening is they're stabbing, trying to be something, and it's coming out a different way.
Yeah.
Like just how you talked about that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe they really were like every single one of them was trying to write their own linoleum, and that's just how it came out.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like, I love them all, and like that sound is just so. It's just I love shit like that cannot be replicated. Like, and that Powerhouse LP is the same way. It's like you could never like put people in a room and have them walk out writing a record that sounds like that ever again.
Definitely time and place type
thing. And I think that when we say of the time or time and place, that's not a knock. It's just like I don't know.
It's something that could only exist during that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so
it's still good. It doesn't mean it was shitty.
I know. So like I don't know how you describe something like that to give it like the credence I'm trying to give it.
Yeah.
You know, like it's all this shit aligned and made something like special.
Yep.
And it can't do it again.
No.
Because you're not that age. You like weren't in that place. You didn't have that equipment. Like whatever the fuck ever, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of things are mistakes.
Yeah, happy accidents.
You know? Yeah, happy accidents. That's a way better way to say mistake. So you do Obscene Humanity. No. Yes. And then you do Unsilent Death.
Yeah, so what happened is around July of 2009, I recruited Taylor in the band, and I had about 5 songs worth of material. We got in a room, we recorded it, and that's like 5 songs off of Unsilent Death right there.
Yeah.
And it was rocking, and basically between July and December, you know, first I told those dudes, I was like, look, we're going to go record this record with Kurt. I talked to Kurt, he's down to record it. And they're like, all right, cool. So we wrote between July and December, wrapped up the last part of the record we needed to do, recorded it at Kurt's, self-financed, because at that time, Nails had played 10 shows, and I wanted to go record. I wanted that That record cost $3,000 to record. And I was in no position to ask anybody to give me 4 digits while in a band that just, played 10 shows and had, we played to 20 people at every single one of our shows, which is fine. But that's where Nails was at. So I decided, okay.
What about that show that we did in...
Oxnard?
Yeah, that was a sick fucking show.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I'm underselling it a little bit. We played some good shows.
Well, that's a Retaliate headline, dude. Yeah. 200 kids, fool.
It was a great show. I had a great time. No, I remember, man. Hey,
that was a sick show.
Yeah, man. It was a great show. But, so I was just, I'm going to pay for this myself. We're going to record this and we're going to put it out ourselves. Now, it came out on 6 Feet Under and Street Cleaner, but I actually paid for the manufacturing and distribution of all the records. Dave, 6 Feet Under, did the CD.
Yeah.
And so that came out in March of 2010. We did a record release show in Ojai. Within a couple months, Greg Anderson from Southern Lord hit us up, and he was cool. He's interested in putting out our band, so we signed a contract with Southern Lord.
Yeah, and then they re-released it.
They re-released it in November of 2010. So that worked out really well for me because in order to recoup the manufacturing costs and the cost of the recording, I had to basically sell like 860 12 inches at the distributed rate, like $8 a pop.
Yeah.
And I was worried.
And you had pressed how many?
1,000.
Yeah.
And luckily, by like July, those have it all sold. I got my money back, and fucking Southern Lord bought the record from us. So,
that's great.
Because I was really concerned, man. I mean, that's like...
No, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I had like $6,000 wrapped up in that thing of like my own money, and I didn't have much of a savings at that time. It was just like, well, I'm just going to do this. Fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah.
And it was cool.
Sonically, those first 2 records are kind of similar. They sound like the same band.
Oh, okay.
A lot, right? Don't you think?
Oh, like the first 2 Nails records?
Yeah.
Unsilent
those
Death
2.
and Abandon. Oh, Obscene Humanity and Unsilent Death?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't, man. I don't. I think when we got Taylor in the band, I think that really changed our sound a little bit. He started doing more of the blasting stuff. And I think the songs are just probably like Nails had found our sound on Unsilent Death.
Yeah.
I think so. Like from my perspective, I look at Obscene Humanity as just like a demo.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
You guys, well, there's a little more of like the mid tempos. It's hard to say a slower tempo, but you're fucking with those tempos.
Yeah, sure.
But the jump sonically is the Abandon All Life LP. I mean, that sounds huge.
Oh, you think so?
I think it sounds bigger.
Cool. Yeah.
I think it sounds way bigger.
Yeah.
I mean,
we spent more time there, and we were a better band by the time we went to record it, so that makes perfect sense.
It just sounds more death metal.
Okay, cool.
More death metal than like...
It was. We were definitely going for that more on that record.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Which is your favorite?
Of the Nails records?
Yeah, I mean, we can get through them all first before...
Well, my favorite ones are the You Will Never Be One of Us, but out of the ones we were talking about, probably Abandon All Life. Yeah.
Yeah, so You Will Never Be One of Us is the third LP, and there's actually... Did I make a typo? It's 3 years later? Took about 3 years?
That's right. We usually take about 3 years to do record. This next one we're doing 4. But
yeah. So did more thinking go into like, what was harder to write, Abandon All Life or You'll Never Be One of Us?
They were both equally just as hard. Like they were both very very labor intensive. Like one of the things is like I couldn't write a record like a year after or 2 years after of putting out a record because something significant I can't just put out a record every three years for the sake of it. Like there needs to be something, like there needs to be a reason for that record to exist. Either I got something to say or the music has evolved. Like the music and everything has to evolve before we're going to put out another record, basically. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of why it took us 3 years to do that. And I just want to make sure that when we put something out, it's worth the $10 or $15 or however much anybody pays to get it. But those records were very hard, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that we just wanted to make sure that we could do something that was worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to just do Unsilent Death 2 or whatever. But that's the thing with Nails. I feel like our soundscape is, there's a lot of things we could do, but there's only a certain thing I want to do. So it's kind of like narrow.
Yeah. So it is very narrow.
Trying to find new ways to I don't want to say to do the same thing, but you just got to find new inspiration. You just have to find inspiration, basically, and that's kind of why it takes us a while. We just have to, because you know how it is, man. When you make a record, like, you live, breathe, and sleep it until it's done, and then when you're done with it, you're like, fuck, that was exhausting. No matter how good it is or whatever, you're just like, fuck, I gave that my all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to touch a guitar for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Well, I haven't played guitar since Smalley broke up, so it's been a few years.
But didn't you feel that way when you did the In Control records?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, it's very... When you give your all into something, it's very, like... I don't know. It's weird.
Not in a bad way, but it's exhausting.
No, it's weird. It's weird coming off it. It's like, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, totally. It's... I don't know. It's like a... It's an adrenaline dump. It's like an endorphin, like rush. It's like, it's all these things encompassed together. I mean, more so like when Retaliate did Thorns, like we really cared about the record and put everything into it. And then coming out of it was just like, we blew it. No one ever fucking heard it. Like maybe 100 people, or some bullshit. But anyway, one day we'll re-release it and someone will hear it.
It's not out there still? That came out on like Mind Disease Records.
Yeah, like we took a chance because like it was during like a weird Mandel time when he wasn't like really doing records.
Yeah.
And I think he was gonna do it, and then he decided not to, and then he decided to do it, and then I can't really remember, but it was the label was kind of hiatus, and so I was like, let me go with like these young kids that are they're gonna like push it.
Yeah, that's cool.
I thought so, and then like they didn't do anything. They ended up just being kind of shy and just sat on them all. And now I'm just buying them off them for $1 a record.
Gotcha. That's
but no, it was funny because I was like, that kind of like threw me for a loop. Like, man, why aren't you guys like not pushing this shit? And then I did Somali and I did it myself with the first record I put it out. And like, dude, I went and put that in every single Southern California record store.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, it was really, it kind of, I don't know if angered me. It frustrated me that like those kids didn't, because it's like, well, why would you not want to? Even if you're just pressing fucking 500 records with no insert, it's fucking $2,000. Do you want to try to recoup?
I don't know, but when you and I were doing our first records, which that sounds like experience similar, like we didn't have money to fucking lose. Like,
right. And so
maybe those guys had like enough money where they could just like take a wash on an album. I don't know.
That's Somali. It's like, I just want to get the name out. Like, even if like you're losing the money from like, it's a loss leading thing, right? It's good to have your shit in every fucking store. And every store took them. I was just like, the fuck? You got to, at the end of the day, put your feet on the ground, go out and fucking do it. It's the difference between being successful in any aspect of your life.
Well, I think when we came up, it was in the mid to late 90s. There wasn't really much infrastructure for us to be able to put things out. Like, the only way we could do things was if we went and took it to the fucking store.
Yeah.
We didn't either know, or we didn't have it at our finger, no sort of distribution available to us that would take 50 copies and sell them to stores all over the United States.
So you're going and doing it, and most times on consignment, and it's like, I'll sell it to you for $2. And
shit ain't like that anymore.
It's still like that for some of us.
Yeah.
But
no. What I'm saying is, like, kids don't have to do that anymore. They kind of know that they could get in touch with a distributor, like get in touch with Death Wish, get in touch with Revelation, because back then, like, we had, I guess there was Ebullition, we just didn't.
Yeah, I wonder why we didn't fuck with that more so.
I bought records from Ebullition all the time, and Kent, even though he was fucking grumpy, he always gave Carry On good reviews and his shit, which I thought was surprising.
Yes, they were like really cool. Like, Lisa gave the first In Control like my favorite review we ever got.
That's sick.
Like, even like mentioning like all the lyrics and everything, I was like, man, these are two really rad people. I don't know why we didn't work with them a little more. It would have made sense. But again, Todd, like, we were just young, and that was just such a small piece of time.
And they were kind of...
They were older.
They were older, and you could kind of tell, even though they did give us good reviews, it didn't seem like they were interested in really having any sort of relationship with us, which is fine.
Sure.
But maybe it was just the age divide.
Yeah, and it was just like we were still like proving ourselves. Yeah. And maybe by the time we would have done something with them, we would have moved on to other things.
I hated the Ebullition scene, man. Like, I didn't notice that.
Like, all the bands that played the Pickle Patch that weren't hardcore,
man. Because Pickle Patch was one of the places that we could go for shows. So I would always go there, and I didn't know who was playing, but I would go, and I wanted to see hardcore bands, and it was all these bands calling themselves hardcore bands, which is fine, but they didn't fucking sound like Youth of Today.
No,
and that was a huge disappointment for me.
Yes,
and like I would at that age, I was too young to be able to say, oh, I fucking hate this, but it was like I was spending all this time and effort.
I think you still said that.
Yeah, I probably did. This fucking sucks.
I mean, that was like it was interesting place for us because I don't know, like we're pretty like open-minded people to everyone.
We
right?
were absolutely,
but it's like that's a place you go, and it's just like there are these weird PC people that want to make you feel like you're fucking a terrible person for just being like a normal person, right?
There's a little bit of that, for sure.
Like, do you remember? This is fucked up, dude. But I'll tell the story anyway. Yeah. Do you remember there was that like women's march that was going on? I can't remember like what. Okay, there were all these women marching in front of the pickle patch, and they were like chanting, "We'll say it once, we'll say it again. There's no excuse for violent men." And there's like all these women marching, like doing a parade, and those fucking frat boys rented the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. And they were following all the women around like in a big hot dog truck.
I remember that, dude.
Dude, we were like rolling on the ground. But it's like, okay, that's like a douchey, like, frat boy move.
Yeah.
But funny's funny. Fuck it, dude.
Yeah,
and remember,
funny.
like, Steve Aoki was like scolding us. And it's like, now you're a fucking sound trap to, like, look at the shit you're doing, dude.
He's famous, man.
Come on. He's fucking famous. So why did we fucking raise money for him to recoup his fucking...
You know what's funny about all out of all the people that like we socialized with or we were in the same kind of group or culture as, like, the person to get famous was him.
It makes perfect sense when you're like fully fucking set for life rich and you never have to compromise anything. There's no like, you don't have to worry like, oh, I got to get a job like selling sandwiches so I can save up money to go on tour.
No, that's
it's like
true,
your fucking parents own Benihana's. Like you're styling.
Yeah, he was styling.
Like you can take some risks and like if like I don't know what's his basement. Like, oh fuck, I gotta go live with my folks. Like they only got like
down in Newport Beach.
I know they only got that back house at 6 bedrooms. Fuck. You know? Like whatever. Go manage
styling.
Dude, I know. And best luck. I'm not hating.
Me
I
neither.
always thought it was lame. Like he did that one show that was like raise money to save the pickle patch. And remember we all played it.
Yeah.
And this is another sign of the times. I remember that was the first like hardcore show where there wasn't like a touring band and there was no like bigger band on it, and it was like $10. And a lot of our friends were like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Yeah,
like,
attend this shit all.
You know, like
that was the second pickle patch, right? The last one.
It was that final, that last one.
Yeah, okay,
But the show was at the living room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did like a benefit show at the living room, and it was like, and our friends are like, "Why are we coming to pay $10 for you guys?" And then like none of us got paid because it was like it was a benefit for the pickle patch, right? And then like a month later, he shuts down the pickle patch, and I was like, "Dude, what's up?" Like, and he was like, "Well, that was like to make all my money back." And it's like, what? Like we thought this was like we were doing it to like keep it alive. Like,
man.
Fuck.
The great hardcore entitlement.
I know. What are you gonna do? Yellow Peril, dude. That was his column.
What was it?
That was his column in Heart Attack.
What was it?
Yellow Peril.
Oh my god, dude.
So abandon all life, and you will never be one of us. Who will not be one of you, and what is the thing?
Oh man, you'll never be one of us. It's just about how like it's kind of like how you were talking earlier about how you didn't really understand how like hardcore and punk rock was a very message driven kind of genre, and that's basically what that is about. It's like people trying to fucking impose who got no fucking right. They got no heart. They got, you know what I mean?
That's trying to be in the scene?
Yeah. Or just anything in life.
But what about rockers that want to be up front and bang their head, dude?
That's what's up, man. I got no problem with that. It's just about people who try to attach on to something when they're not pure. They don't got the right intentions and stuff like that. That's just all that's about.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you think that like that perspective of yours is coming from
my youth?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was wondering if like your circle's just bigger now of like the bands you've played with and seen and
it's not definitely it has a lot to do with my youth, and it has a lot to do with what's going on now. I would say it had more to do with my youth, but now like, dude, there's so much like in Nails, like I definitely see like my eyes are open. They always have been, but like I'm seeing a lot more stuff I haven't seen before, and there's definitely things. It's like, yo, if you're over here, I'm gonna fucking stay over here. or over there. I don't want to be anywhere near that. So that's definitely inspired that message a little bit. Yeah, but it's just that fucking feeling and that anger where it's like, yo, you know, you're into this fucking thing and you're so passionate about it, and you see someone come along and just fucking like, yo, you fucking suck. Like you're leeching off shit. You don't give more than you fucking take. Like you fucking suck. You need to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's what you'll never be one of us is.
Yeah.
And I knew, dude. I knew as soon as I fucking thought of that title, I was like, yo, people aren't going to like this. And I was like, fuck it. I love it. I don't care.
Did people not like it?
Oh, people, dude, I get to ask that question all the time. I feel like, I don't know, like people make memes and shit, you know what I mean? Like Nails is like a very like memed band, you know?
Because of that?
I think so. I think because of that, maybe other things, I don't know.
Well, you didn't give them, or you gave them more material, huh? On like the latest
I Don't Want to
thing?
Know You? Yeah. Yo, dude, that's a fucking great song.
Yeah, I would say it's like the catchiest Nail song, right?
I love that song, man, and that's the problem, man. You know, we have a stash of songs that we have, and we're like, we just, you know, we're behind on making an album, so we're just like, let's just put out a couple songs. And the two songs that we chose were the two songs we wanted to put out, and I was like, well, what are we going to call this? I'm like, well, the song is I Don't Want to Know You. I'm not going to change it.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know, like, people are going to think it's funny. You will never be one of us. I don't want to know you. Like, but I wasn't going to let something like that like stop.
No, it's like the catchiest Nail song, right?
I think so. I think
so. And then what about the second song? Like that's the fucking deep dick song.
The deep
dick
song.
Like we're not fucking we're not gonna beat around the bush. We're just gonna give you the whole thing. Like
man.
right up in your guts.
Yeah, I mean it's a 1-2 punch, man. You got the fast aspect and you got the mid tempo aspect. I feel like that's what we do, you know what I mean? We don't have a lot of tricks. I don't know if I'd say we're a 1-trick pony, maybe a 1.5-trick pony, but
well, those are 2 tricks because those songs are totally different and both fucking banging.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I think those are the 2 best Nail songs personally.
Thanks, I mean, I've had criticism like that, so I'm pretty psyched. So
what's the criticism?
No, I've had that exact criticism. People have been telling me they like them.
Oh, criticism in a positive way.
Yeah, in a positive way.
Yeah.
So we've gotten a lot of good feedback regarding those songs, but
I think that would be a critique.
There you go, critique. Yeah,
but I think a critique can be positive or negative. Criticism is always bad.
Well, I don't think a critique is supposed to be positive or negative. It's more of just like a thought. Like, this is my thought.
Yeah. Like, it can go either way.
Yeah.
But a criticism is always
like
negative.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was using that incorrectly.
So, but what would be the positive one? An admiration?
That would certainly be positive. I don't know. Yeah.
We've gotten lots of admiration on these 2 songs.
You've always been good with the English language. You're always well spoken.
Well,
that's never been my strong point.
This is a fucking terrible testament to it. You know, like we have this metal guy, Mark. Shout out if you made it to whatever episode this is, 24 or some shit. Because like he listened to the first couple. The guy that's our welder. He's like, dude, Zach, what's up with you saying like all the time? You sound like a fucking Valley girl. And then I was like, oh, right there, you know? Yeah. And then like I listen to it, I get in my fucking head. And I'm just like, oh, and there it is again, right? Once I start thinking about it, it's like, it's just the way I talk. There's nothing I can do about it, right? Yeah. So love it or leave it, you know?
Well, that's also one thing is like when you choose to be in a band, like you don't really know it at the time, but you're also choosing all these other hats to wear because it's not like you just have to be the singer or the guitar player. You have to be the guy who does interviews. If your band makes a video, like what does that mean? Do you have to be an actor? Like, like there's a lot of roles that you assume when you decide to be in a band, and I don't know, like this has led you to a podcast, and now you're going to want to clean up your language, or not your language, but you'll want to clean up your diction. I mean, it's just good for you, man. I couldn't do a podcast because of that.
Here's what I think, dude. It's been nothing but positivity so far. Yeah, probably because it's not that popular. So it's like so mostly like, you know, if you're on a smaller scale, it's most of your friends and people that think of you positively listening to it, right? I think the criticism comes when you like get a little bigger, because then you have like negative people trying to chop you down. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like you just have to do something. And like, so the impetus of the podcast was that Damien dude from Fucked Up.
Yeah.
He does a podcast, and he used to, in a lot of his earlier episodes, he talked a lot about Nardcore and Mystic. And I would
really?
A lot.
That's awesome.
Like he just seemed really interested in it.
He's definitely a super record collector guy.
He's definitely a super record collector guy. And so I emailed him
like maybe once or twice, him or his brother, because I think his brother helps him out with like his social media accounts. And I was like, dude, if you like all that Mystic stuff, like you gotta like get Tony Cortez on your shit, because like he's a fucking dude that like he's not fucked up.
No, he's
and
not.
he was
That's
there
right.
from the beginning.
Yep.
Like, so it's like you can have this perspective of like 1980 on, and he's there for you, like, you know. And they never even like respond or anything. And then I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, why am I'm fucking 39.
Yeah.
Why am I emailing another man telling him, hey, you should do this? You know, it's like, no, I have the means. I can go out and get equipment and I'll just fucking do it. And if people like it, they like it. And if they don't, they don't.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it's like, again, like I'm old enough and I know how to deal with like that negative energy. Like how we were talking about the Teamwork Records guy, like it wouldn't bother me now because like we can look at it and it's like, you're giving off this negative energy to me for no reason. You're the loser.
Yeah.
Like by you big timing, what, you're gonna big time a fucking 20-year-old? You're a fucking dork, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So it's like that stuff doesn't bother me. So if someone wants to come at me, and he, like the welder dude was, he wasn't like really busting my balls.
Yeah.
But if someone came at me like, oh, like the way you talk is sorry, or like you're stupid or some shit, it's like whatever. Like you can do your own. You know?
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
So I'm ready for the criticism, basically. Right?
Yeah.
But I also think I do objectively, I think I do a pretty good job.
I think you do too. Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I try to do a little bit of my homework. With you, it's easy because I've known you forever.
For so long.
And I know, like, most of the songs. But for some people, I have to, like, go and listen to things. And, like, you know, if some of the stuff I like doing Tim from Amenity, like, his whole discography is not necessarily easy to get.
Yeah.
And, like, I really wanted to do a good show with him because people look at him like they look at Tony Cortez and Nard.
Absolutely.
You know, and I'm like, I'm not going to fucking put this guy in a position to fail. Like, I want him to come off really well. So I made sure I got all his records and listened to them all. You know what I mean? Like, cool. You got to go that extra mile if, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Nails is firing, dude.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And forever. Why would you ever stop?
Oh, to stop doing nails?
Yeah.
I don't think I will.
Yeah. You do it when you're 50?
I guess I don't. I just look. What I look at is the next LP in front of us.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we're doing now. We're trying to write another record. I mean, we are writing another record, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes, man. I mean, if I could do nails when I'm 50, I'll do it for sure. I mean, I think I'll always play music. I'm not. I don't know. I've kind of surprised myself in my own path through music. You know, when I was younger, I didn't think I'd be doing music until I was, you know, I'm 38 now. So I didn't think I'd be doing music this long. So I just kind of keep it open-ended and just do what I can do. I'm just lucky because I'm lucky that Nails is in a position where we're in. It's cool. I'm psyched on it. It's a lot of fun.
Again, luck is like a if we want to chew into our language, that's a weird word, right?
Yeah. Luck's not the word, but we're fortunate that there's an audience of people who are interested in doing the things that we would do. Because the fact of the matter is, you know, if Nails, you know, drew 50 people still, I'd still play shows. It just would be a lot less. You know what I mean? But I'd maybe play 2 or 3 shows a year.
Yeah.
But we're fortunate that we have a following to where we can, you know, go to Toronto, Canada, or go to New York City or whatever, and have a pretty banging show.
Yeah, and that there's enough like psychos out there that can like have that type of music in their palette.
Yeah, relate with it.
Right? Because like I was gonna say, like, so Abandoned Life to me, like I love the production. I think it's like perfect death metal-y sounding, right? You'll never be one of us, like. The first time I listened to it, I was like, I think I was driving to Oregon, and I was like in this with our company. You know, we build stuff here, and then we got to go deliver it. And I was driving to this Penske, and so a lot of those like the systems are going to be sorry, right? Yeah. They're not putting a banging system into the Penske.
Yeah.
And fucking, you will never be one of us. Like that thing surges so hard, like I don't know, like it was like I can't even tell what I'm listening to right now. Like cool. This is fucking wild.
That's
you know,
awesome.
it's just like. Like I don't know, the speakers didn't know. It was like I don't know. It was like a fucking teenager's brain.
That's
like,
awesome.
It didn't know how to like have this music sonically come out of like this shitty speaker system, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta wait until I get home and listen to this like at my house. That's you know what I mean? Because I can't like even hear how it sounds right now. It was surging too hard.
That's awesome.
do you want to talk about Fireburn?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the idea for doing this band?
So I met Todd Youth at a Power of the Riff when Nails played. We played Power of the Riff with Neurosis, and the prior day Blood Clot played, but we couldn't go see him. But Joey and Todd, the drummer and the guitar player from Blood Clot, came and just to hang out, and they checked out Nails, and I met them at that show. And I met Todd Youth, and I mean, that was kind of a big deal for me because, you remember, Warzone was one of the first hardcore bands that came across, I think, all of our radars.
Oh, yeah.
I think Roger Camaro had that double disc or the Another Planet CD of the first 2 albums. And so that was something we all jammed.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, man, it's fucking Todd Youth. Like, he didn't play on those records, but he made a lot of those songs. So it's like, wow, that's fucking cool. And I just hit him up. I'm like, yo, man, you want to go get lunch sometime? He was like, sure. So we went and got lunch one day. I drove up to where he lived. We got lunch in Hollywood, and we had a really good time. And then a month later, I saw him at a show in Hollywood. He's like, "Hey, man, you want to do a band?" And I was like, "Fuck, like I would love to play music with you, yeah." And I'm like, I can only really get together once a week or once every 2 weeks. He's like, "Yeah, it'll be a side project, no problem." I'm like, "What do you want it to sound like?" He's like, "Let's do something that sounds like Agnostic Front." I'm like, fucking count me in, dog. Like, let's do it. And so he's like, do you know any drummers? So I was like, yeah, I know this great drummer. And a buddy of mine, Nick, who I played a Knife Fight with, fucking phenomenal drummer, phenomenal person. We got together, and it was magic. Me, Nick, and Todd got together in a room, and it was just fucking on. And, it was just awesome. Like, we had a really great chemistry with us. And we're talking mid-2017. Nails goes on tour, and we had 10 of these demo songs that we have. Half of them sounded like the first Agnostic Front 7-inch, that kind of style. And then the other half of them sounded a little bit more musical, I guess. It sounded a little bit more like the Bad Brains. And I came home from tour, and Todd had these demo songs. He's like, listen to this. And he played one of the songs, and it was Israel singing on it. I had no idea who was singing on it. And I was like, holy fuck, dude. Who's the singer? It sounds like HR.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's Israel. He sang on Rise. I was like, oh, where does he live? He's like, oh, he lives in Santa Monica. And it's like, oh, I guess we got our singer. And so Israel joined the band, and I don't know, musically, that was a really, 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 really great time. I really had very good chemistry between Nick and Todd. But basically what happened, dude, was the band I guess I don't want to say it got popular, but it got a lot of attention. And the fact of the matter is, it was getting offered a lot of tours and a lot of shows, and I couldn't do them because, it was supposed to be a side project band, but slowly but surely it was, kind of getting turned into
it was too good.
A real band. You
right?
know what I mean? It was good. I wish it would have stayed the way it was.
And it was so I don't know, that record cover, the first one is beautiful.
Yeah, man.
So it's you come out with that out the gate.
Yeah, it was hot, man. I mean, people seem to like it. I mean, I was fucking psyched on it. I was super proud of it. I loved playing with those guys, but the fact of the matter is, it was popping, and I had to take a step back. And
so they did some shows without you, but you still did the second record and shit.
I mean, they did a whole tour without me. I mean, because I stopped playing in December, and then but we had recorded that 2-song 7-inch, and that came out, I think, in the spring. But they did a GBH, half the United States, and they did dates here and there. They probably played about 30 shows.
Were you in the band, though, or you actually left the band?
I left the band, yeah. I left the band in December of 2017, and then Todd passed in the summer, I think. And, I don't know. Fireburn was a great experience, but also... I don't know. I wish things would have worked out a little bit differently.
How old was he? Do you know?
Yeah, Todd was when he passed, I think he was 48 years old, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, because he was
young.
13 in 1982, right?
Yeah.
So it's
that's amazing to that's something to, I don't know. It's something to strive for. He did a great band.
Up until the end.
Yeah. I
mean, man. He had it going on, man. That dude was, he was a great musician. And a great musician and a great mind, for sure. Yeah. I learned a lot from playing music with him.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm psyched.
Anything else you want to touch on?
No. That's it.
Okay, I think we went all the way through.
Okay, cool. Is there anything else?
No, that's how we do it. I just ask, do you feel like you've been well represented? Do you feel like we went through and did everything good?
we probably talked about things that I didn't really care to talk about, but yeah, I don't mean that in a negative way. I'd be like, dude, you really did your homework, man. I mean, not like you had to, but like, I was really surprised. This was really cool. I mean, we talked about everything. We didn't really talk about Snake Eyes that much, but that was.
Oh, you know what? That kind of you know why? Because you jumped right from Betrayed to Nails.
Yeah.
So you cut it out. So Snake Eyes is in 2007. It must have been right before you went to play with Blacklisted.
Yeah, basically. Like, I think we did the demo in 2005, early 2005, and I think it was in the thick of Internal Affairs.
Okay.
But me and Corey, we started that band and got Bo on vocals and did a demo and then did a 7-inch, and that was pretty much it. I mean, the band didn't really do a whole lot, but
What did you do?
just a demo and a
Is
7-inch.
Is it 2 different recordings?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so is the demo available? Did it come out?
We put it out on CDR. Like,
Okay.
I don't even think it's like floating around the internet or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's probably on YouTube.
You speed picked on one of those songs, didn't you?
Yeah, I love tremolo picking.
Okay.
It's like my favorite shit. That was my Slayer influence that's all I learned was Metallica, Slayer, Nirvana songs.
Yeah, that was a good band. It was bad timing, right? Because you did it right before you before you went and did Blacklisted.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, like, Corey had Internal Affairs. Like, I don't know if it, like, the chemistry was right. Like, really, it wasn't like a band anybody pursued, you know?
Yeah.
So it was all right.
Cool. You want to wrap on Snake Eyes?
Nah. Yeah.
That's the final.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Todd.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yep.